Imagine two innocent boys, heirs to the English throne, vanishing into the shadows of a foreboding tower, never to be seen again. Their uncle, a man twisted by ambition and rumor, seizes the crown amid whispers of foul play. What if the price of power was the blood of your own kin? This is the chilling tale of the princes in the tower, a mystery that has haunted history for over 5 centuries, inspiring tales of betrayal and villainy like Shakespeare's infamous hunchbacked tyrant. I bring you this gripping story today, history lovers, because it reveals the dark underbelly of royal ambition during the brutal Wars of the Roses. In 1483, young Edward V and his brother Richard, Duke of York, disappeared from the Tower of London, allegedly at the hands of their uncle Richard III in a bid to claim the throne. This horrific act not only ended a royal line, but fueled endless debates. Was it murder, or something even more sinister? We'll dive into the facts, the sources, and the myths surrounding this tragedy. But before we unravel this web of intrigue, if you're fascinated by these royal scandals and want more tales of Tudor treachery or Habsburg horrors, hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications. Stay tuned to uncover the truth behind the vanished princes. Euro 130. Background context. To understand this royal tragedy, we must step back into the turbulent world of 15th century England, where the Wars of the Roses pitted the houses of York and Lancaster against each other in a bloody struggle for the crown. Picture a land torn by civil war, where brothers fought brothers, and loyalty was as fleeting as a summer storm. The key figures: the Yorkist king, Edward IV, a towering warrior who seized the throne in 1461, and his ambitious brother Richard, Duke of Gloucester, born in 1452 amid omens of strife. Richard's early life was marked by the chaos of war. As the youngest son of Richard, Duke of York, he grew up in the shadow of his father's claim to the throne, which ignited the conflicts. Edward IV, his elder brother, emerged victorious, but not without scars. Richard proved himself a loyal commander, fighting valiantly at battles like Barnet and Tewkesbury. Yet, whispers followed him. Contemporaries described him as having a crooked back, perhaps scoliosis, which later writers exaggerated into a symbol of inner evil. As one chronicler noted, he was small of stature, deformed of body, the one shoulder being higher than the other, fueling myths of a cursed soul. The family tree was a tangled web of alliances and betrayals. Edward IV married Elizabeth Woodville, a widow from a lesser noble family, in secret, a scandal that alienated powerful allies like the Earl of Warwick. Their children included Edward V, born in 1470, and Richard, Duke of York, in 1473. When Edward IV died suddenly in April 1483 at age 40, possibly from illness or excess, he left his 12-year-old son, Edward V, as heir, with Richard appointed as Lord Protector. But from the start, signs of doom loomed. Richard intercepted the young king's procession to London, arresting key Woodville relatives on charges of treason. As Italian observer Dominic Mancini wrote in 1483, he and his brother were withdrawn into the inner apartments of the tower proper, and day by day began to be seen more rarely behind the bars and windows. This sets the stage for the ominous events to come, debunking the myth that the tower was always a prison. It was a royal residence, but one that turned deadly. I often wonder, what must those boys have felt, thrust into this political maelstrom? Their mother's family influence waned, and Richard's grip tightened, foreshadowing the tragedies ahead. Euro 430. Rise to power, key events. Now, let's follow Richard's ascent, a path paved with cunning maneuvers and ruthless decisions that built to an inevitable climax. After Edward IV's death, Richard, as protector, moved swiftly to consolidate power. In May 1483, he lodged young Edward V in the Tower for safety, soon joined by his 9-year-old brother Richard, under the guise of preparing for the coronation. But whispers of conspiracy grew. Picture this: the streets of London buzzing with tension as Richard convened a council. He accused the Woodvilles of plotting against him, executing Lord Hastings without trial in a dramatic scene at the Tower. His head struck off on a log, as Thomas More recounts in his History of King Richard III. "Have you so brief authority? Yet will I give you example of longer." This purge eliminated rivals, leaving Richard unchecked. By June, Richard escalated his bid. A preacher at Paul's Cross proclaimed Edward IV's children illegitimate, claiming a pre-contract marriage to another woman invalidated his union with Elizabeth Woodville. As More writes, the blood of King Edward's children was rooted in adultery. Richard used this to declare himself the rightful heir, petitioning Parliament to crown him. On July 6, 1483, he was anointed Richard III in Westminster Abbey amid forced celebrations. But ambition's cost mounted. Rebellions erupted, led by the Duke of Buckingham, once Richard's ally, now turning coat. Richard crushed it, executing Buckingham, but paranoia set in. The princes, last seen playing in the Tower Gardens that summer, vanished from view. Contemporary sources like the Croyland Chronicle note rumors of their death by autumn. A rumor arose that King Edward's sons had died a violent death, but it was uncertain how. Analyze this. Richard's rise stemmed from the unstable Yorkist regime and his own military prowess, but it sowed seeds of distrust. The Wars of the Roses had weakened institutions, making power grabs feasible, yet they eroded public support. Impacts? It destabilized England further, paving the way for Henry Tudor's invasion. For visuals, imagine reenactments of the coronation procession, with Richard in regal robes hiding his alleged deformities, or shadowy tower scenes evoking dread. But it gets worse. The true horror was yet to unfold. Midway through this tale of betrayal, if you're hooked on these historical dramas, consider supporting the channel on Patreon for exclusive behind-the-scenes content and early access to videos. Your support keeps these stories alive. 0930. Climax, tragedy, death. We reach the heart of darkness, the prince's tragic fate, a mystery shrouded in blood and secrecy. By late summer 1483, with Richard crowned, the boys posed a threat, living symbols of a rival claim. According to Thomas More's detailed account, Richard, en route to Gloucester, resolved to eliminate them. He sent John Green to Tower Constable Sir Robert Brackenbury with orders to kill them, but Brackenbury refused, saying he'd die first. Undeterred, Richard turned to Sir James Tyrrell, a loyal knight. Tyrrell took control of the tower for one night, enlisting Miles Forrest, a seasoned murderer, and John Dighton, his burly servant. Moore describes the horrific scene vividly. About midnight, they came into the chamber and suddenly lapped them up among the clothes, so bewrapped them and entangled them, keeping down by force the featherbed and pillows hard unto their mouths, that within a while, smothered and stifled, their breath failing, they gave up to God their innocent souls into the joys of heaven, leaving to the tormentors their bodies dead in the bed. The bodies were buried at the stair-foot, deeply dug, but Richard later had a priest rebury them secretly, perhaps thrown into the Thames, as some speculate. Witnesses? None direct, but Tyrrell confessed under torture in 1502 during Henry VII's reign, naming Forrest and Dighton. Was it poison or fate? Evidence points to smothering for its quietness, avoiding blood to maintain deniability. Conspiracies abound. Some blame Henry VII after his 1485 victory at Bosworth, but contemporary rumors during Richard's reign suggest otherwise. As Philippe de Comines, a French diplomat, wrote, he had his two nephews murdered and made himself king. Debunking. No proof of survival, despite recent claims like Philippa Langley's documents hinting at escapes to Europe. Most historians dismiss them as forgeries or misinterpretations. The emotional toll? Imagine the boys' terror, confined, sensing doom, their mother's anguish, seeking sanctuary, unable to save them. This act sealed Richard's villainy, a brutal turning point in royal history. 13 Huntuag. Legacy analysis. The prince's disappearance left an indelible scar on history, ending the Yorkist line and ushering in the Tudors. Richard's reign lasted mere 2 years, crumbling at Bosworth where he died crying, "Treason." Henry VII married their sister Elizabeth, uniting the houses, but the mystery fueled propaganda. Modern views? Shakespeare's Richard III paints him as a deformed monster, croaking, a horse, my kingdom for a horse." But that's Tudor bias, exaggerating his scoliosis, discovered in his 2012 remains. Hollywood got it wrong, romanticizing in films like The White Queen, ignoring sources showing Richard's capable rule before the murders. Lessons? It's a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition destroying legacies, reminding us how power corrupts. In my opinion, while evidence implicates Richard, the lack of bodies, bones found in 1674 were examined in 1933, confirming boys aged 9 to 12 but no DNA match yet, keeps the debate alive. What do you think? Guilty or framed? Comment below. 1430. Conclusion. Call to action. In the end, the princes in the tower stand as a tragic reminder of ambition's deadly cost, a royal betrayal that echoes through time. From their innocent vanishing to the enduring mystery, this story warns against the perils of power. Thanks for joining me on this journey through history's shadows. Keep exploring these tales of triumph and tragedy. If you enjoyed, give it a like, subscribe for more, and share with fellow history buffs. Comment your theories on the prince's fate below. It sparks great discussions.